Hola amigos, it's time to go racing again in Euro Cup 3 with 3 weekends left in the championship, 6 races and 162 points still on the table. It's a wide open battle for the championship in 2024. I'm Drake Sanson, great to be with you at Motorland Aragon. I'm in the commentary box where I'm trying to keep cool. Down there on the starting grid, desperately trying to stay awake in the big heat is Marietta Evans. 63 degrees Celsius underneath your shoes, Marietta. It must be very tough down there.
It is very tough indeed, but we don't care because we're just very happy to be here. We know it's going to be a very close battle between Jesse Carrasquedo and everybody else who will be trying to chase him down. Let's see if we can quickly hear from Jesse, our driver on pole. Jesse, what are you thinking right now? It's very hot. We know it's going to be difficult, but can you turn this pole into a win today?
Yeah, very excited. Quite excited to be in front row. And yeah, just do a clean job and finish it.
Thank you very much. Congratulations for being on pole, by the way. And let's see if we could perhaps quickly grab a quick word with the man who arrived here, leading the standings, Javi Sagrera. I don't think we'll be able to speak with him because we have to leave the grid. See if I can have a very, very, very quick word. Javi, you arrived here leading the standings. How are you feeling ahead of today?
Yeah, only one goal in my mind, and it's to win the race this afternoon.
So he has to now keep concentrated, cool, calm and collected. And I can't stay here cool, calm and collected. I have to run from the grid because the race is starting very, very shortly. Jake, what a race we have ahead of us. Another Campos Racing versus MP Motorsport battle. Back to you.
Muchas gracias, Marietta. I always knew that if we were going to have even the slightest chance of a second driver on the grid, Marietta was going to get the job done. Slam dunk, nicely done. So, good to hear from Javier Sagrera. Only one thing on his mind, the W. He wants the victory from second on the grid, and it would certainly give him a much bigger opportunity to clinch the title. He currently has a lead of just 24 points moving into this particular race, so it's definitely going to be an interesting one for him if he can move away from that and get an even bigger advantage going in. He lines up on the front row of the grid alongside Jesse Cadasquedo, the Mexican. Then we have Christian Ho, third position on the grid, still a title contender for my money. He's there alongside Owen Tangavelu, the Vietnamese driver, Michael Shin, P5, and I tell you what, that big accident that he had at Zandvoort has ever since given him a massive wake-up call, because now he is right up at the sharp end. Fifth position on the grid for him, alongside Nikola Tsoloff, who of course is serving his FIA Formula 3 race ban. And well, if he's going to have the ban, then he may as well essentially race in Euro Cup 3 anyway, so that's what he's here for. Luciano Morano lining up on 7th on the grid alongside alongside Hadrian David. I'm so used to seeing Zachary David in this particular paddock, but it's great to see Hadrian David come back into single-seaters and doing such a fantastic job. 8th on the grid for him. 9th on the grid for Bruno Del Pino alongside Daniel Nogales, the Santalok driver, lining up in 10th position on the starting grid. 11th on the grid for Jose Garfias alongside his teammate. And then Emerson Fittipaldi, 12th position on the grid. That's Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., of course. Noah Lyle, 13th on the grid for him. Qualified 10th, but a penalty dropped him down to 13th position on the starting grid. Valentin Klus, who has been the leading rookie for the majority of this season, doing a fantastic job and getting himself up at the sharp end of the dais. Then Theodor Jensen, he lines up alongside Nick Gilks. 17th on the starting grid is the number 7, that's Georgi Juravsky. He lines up alongside the 44 on the grid. That's Diego de la Torre, the Mexican driver for Santalok. 19th on the grid. It is great to see Pierre-Louis Chauvet get back behind the wheel of a single-seater race car again. He is in 19th on the starting grid, alongside the British driver Isaac Barashi, lining up P20 on the grid. 21st on the grid is Garrett Berry, who is lining up there on the 11th row of the grid alongside Douwe de Decker, the Belgian driver who was in F4 Spanish and has now stepped up into Euro Cup 3 for the first time. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do. 23rd on the grid is Victoria Blokina, the Drivax driver. She lines up alongside Joao Diaz. And then we have Linus Hellberg and Emil Hellberg lining up together on the starting grid in 25th and 20th on the grid for the DXR team. And then the three drivers who weren't able to get a qualifying time in on the books. Alexander Abkasava all the way down in 27th on the grid. Not good for the man who won in Portimao. Gaspard Lagaye lining up 28th on the grid. And Dario Cabanelas, the Swiss driver, lining all the way down at the back of the grid in 29th place. It's going to be a very tough race battle. But after 36 cars on the grid in Spanish F4 and 29 cars in Euro Cup 3, this is the first time that we have had a full capacity grid in every single race this weekend. So that is really exciting for both Euro Cup 3 and F4 Spanish. So it's great to see that it's all continuing on. And Rory pointing out that he's noticed I'm growing a mo. You're absolutely right. I just thought I'd experiment for a bit. I've been off television screens for a while, so why on earth not? Experiment, why not? So let's see how things are going to go. Don't forget, before we get started, to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You will not miss a single race in the Euro Cup 3 Championship. And if you have missed this championship up to the point, well, you've got opportunities to go back and watch the previous races. Last couple of rounds of the championship, of course, been covered by my colleagues. Scott Woodwis was there with you, of course, at Paul Ricard. And last time out, you had Alex Goldschmidt at Zandvoort. Great to be back with you once again. Jake Sanson in commentary position here at Motorland Aragon. A massive thank you to Scott and Alex for filling in for me the last couple of rounds. But for the rest of this season, it's game on in Euro Cup 3. 6 races to go. Javier Segreira now has a championship lead after his double-header victory at Zandvoort. His lead in the championship is 23 points. So let's see what the others, Christian Ho, Bruno Del Pino and Owen Tangavelo, can do to close that gap. Final couple of cars getting into position. It's going to be very tough indeed for Alex Abkasava to move his way further forward. So let's see how it continues. The last couple of cars getting into their positions on the starting grid, and it'll all be down to the man on pole position, Jesse Cadasquedo, to live up to the promise that pole position has given him. Let's see if he can transform this great qualifying performance into a race win. The green flag flying at the back of the grid, giving us ready for the race battle that lies ahead of us. Let's race at Aragon. Great start for Jesse Gadashkado. He pulls right across on Segurata, but Segurata's got a good start. So too has Owen Tagovailoa, trying to work his way forward as they go 3-4 wide into the first corner. And there's contact. One of the MPs has gone around. Is that Tagovailoa or is that Javier Segurata? And there's another spinner as they go through. But it's 1, 2, 3 for the Campos crew as they work their way through the first couple of corners. I can't tell whether that was Segurata who went around or whether it was Tagovailoa. It's big drama at the moment. I think it was Tagovailoa that went around. No, it was Segurata. Segurata spun out. I cannot believe it. So Tagovailoa finds himself there. There is Javier Segurata, the championship leader, out of the race on the first corner. I cannot believe it. Well, that is drama in Euro Cup 3 2024. The championship leader goes off at turn 1, and surely this is going to be safety car as a furious Javier Segurata walks away from the car. Let's have a look at it. He had his teammate up the inside of him. Look, Tagovailoa tried to make the bid on the inside. Segurata got squeezed and then hits his teammate, and both of them have gone off the road. Tagovailoa tiptoeing his way around, Segurata out on the spot. Safety car is going to catch the field, and the two teammates battling for the championship have collided. That is devastating for Javier Segurata, championship leader by 23 points. How many points are there for a win? 25. If Christian Ho could take the win, and he is in second place behind Gadashkado, then suddenly that massive championship lead is dashed. You couldn't have asked for a more dramatic start to Euro Cup 3 this weekend. But I tell you what, this roller coaster ride just keeps on peaking and troughing. So Gadashkado will lead under safety car. Christian Ho, his teammate, in second place with a chance to take the lead of the championship. Michael Shin in third. Hadrian David is in fourth position. What a comeback this could be for David. Then we've got Bruno Del Pino in fifth position ahead of Daniel Nogales, Jose Garfias and Valentin Klus. And then Theodor Jensen and Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. ahead of Noah Lyle. Wow, big disaster then into turn 1. And that couldn't really have gone any worse for Owen Tagovailoa and Javier Segurata. I mean, there was the most narrow of contacts between the two drivers. It really couldn't have been that much more of a love tap, but it was enough. That's all that counts. Just the slightest bit of contact between the two. Certainly wasn't malicious. They were going for a race move in the first corner. You're a racing driver. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to just follow along in single file? No, you want them to go racing. And unfortunately, it all backfires for poor Owen Tagovailoa and for Javier Segurata. Segurata out on the spot. Tagovailoa has dropped all the way back to 21st, just in front of Hellberg and Blockina. So big problems already at the start of this one. Now, hang on a minute. Hadrian David was in fourth position. I think he had damage. I think he's come into the pits. So Hadrian David now finds himself down at the back end of the field as well. So I think he had to pit in for damage. Let's look at it again. So there is Tagovailoa, look, diving up the inside of Segurata as the Campos are all around him. And look, where's the contact? There it is, bang! Oh, devastatingly unlucky for the two drivers. There was more going around further around the circuit by the look of it as well. Couple of big movers in the field, but certainly up at the front end of the championship battle. Couldn't have gone worse for Tagovailoa and Javier Segurata. There is Segurata's car. He doesn't have a long walk back to the pits, of course, but he couldn't care less about that right now. He knows that the championship lead could well be gone at the end of this race. So Jesse Gadashkado leads at the moment behind the safety car. But the man who could take back the lead of the championship, Christian Ho, is right behind him. Second place will not do the job. A victory will give him the lead of the championship by just 2 points. If he picks up the fastest lap, he'll lead by 3. So there is the Mexican, Jesse Gadashkado. Not really in the fight for the championship, admittedly, but certainly with a role to play here. There's only 6 races left. And, well, I don't want to start talking about Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris all over again, but we've genuinely got a similar storyline in Euro Cup 3 at the front end of the field. Reminding everybody, of course, that in Euro Cup 3, there is a teams championship, but it's not as big a deal as a Formula 1 Constructors Championship would be. And in feeder series racing, you race for yourself. Yes, you obviously want to make sure the whole team gets up on the podium. And at the moment, all 3 of that team's cars are on the podium. But There's no way that Jesse Cadasquedo is going to want to concede a victory to Christian Ho if he can help it. So there's not going to be a move over and let Christian through moment in this race for Jesse Cadasquedo, but there is going to be a lot of pressure on Christian Ho to get the move on his teammate. Michael Shin in third place. Now Hadrian David is still there in fourth position. It was a transponder defect that had dropped him out of position, so that has been corrected now. There was a slight issue with Hadrian David's transponder, so he had fallen out of the lineup. I did think that I hadn't seen him come into the pits, but he is still there in P4, so that's good news. Del Pino, 5th place. 6th place for Nogales. 7th is Garfias. 8th is Valentin Klus. 9th is Theodor Jensen. And then in 10th place is Emu Fittipaldi Jr. Noah Lal, 11th from Jilks and Nikolai Tsolov, so a bad start for Tsolov. I think he got caught out in the incident. I think he just kind of had to hold his way through together and allow the accident to happen in front of him. He certainly couldn't gain an advantage from it. He ended up losing a lot of places as a result, though, so very unfortunate for Nikolai Tsolov down in 13th. Then we've got Diego de la Torre. He's in 14th ahead of Isaac Barashi and Douwe de Decker. Great start from the Belgian. Douwe de Decker has launched himself forward into 16th place. Then Garrett Berry, Luciano Morano, Joao Diaz and Georgi Żurawski. Owen Tangavelu all the way back in 21st position, and he has the fastest lap technically, but that of course is because on lap 2 he was trying to fight to catch up with the rest of the field. Then Hellberg and Blokina from Diego Cabanelas and Alex Abkasava. Pierre-Louis Chauvet is down in 26th after trying to take avoiding action somewhere as well. And then at the very tail end of the field then we have the last couple of drivers in the mix. So the last couple of drivers in the mix then being the number 20. That, of course, is Gaspard Lagaye. And then right at the very back of this 28 cars remaining field, we have Emil Hellberg, the Swede, who, of course, is related to Linus. But those two are doing wildcard races here at the tail end of the field in the DXR cars. So it's nice that Hadrian David and Joao Diaz have teammates. So the safety car is out on the circuit. I don't think it's going to be too long. Safety car in this lap, just as I say that. Safety car in this lap is what we get instructed by the officials. So this is going to get interesting. Let's see what we will get from Jesse Cadasquedo, Christian Ho and Michael Shin. The top three, all in the same team. Can they hold this together? Hadrian David, 4th position. It'd be wonderful for him to move his way forward. He's got nothing to lose here in 4th position. He may as well just go for it. It's his first race in Euro Cup 3 in 2024, and certainly his first race in single-seaters for quite some time. So why not just get the hammer down and go for it as far as he's concerned. But for the championship fight, this just got interesting. The championship leader is out. Michael Shin could take the lead of the championship if he wins this race. He's currently in 2nd behind his teammate, who's gone for the hammer early. Now, that's interesting for Jesse Cadasquedo. He's actually dropped the hammer on the back straight. So Cadasquedo definitely going for a different tactic than we saw in the F4 Spanish Championship from Maciej Kladish, but it does seem to have worked out in his favour as he comes off the final turn and onto the home straight. He seems to have made an absolute blitzer of the restart. And it's green, 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 green once again here at Euro Cup 3 at Aragon. The Santalocks are going to go to battle into turn 1 by the look of it. Garfias is going to try and get down the inside to try and make the overtaking move. I think, no, sorry, that's Valentin Klus on Garfias. So they're battling away. Meanwhile, Hadrian David is throwing caution to the winds and going after Michael Shin as Tsolov gets past Jilks at turn 1. And David is trying his best. Shin not giving him any space. He doesn't have to. So a fascinating start to proceedings then as Cadasquedo leads Ho, Shin, David, Del Pino, Garfias, Nogales, and then it is Klus, Jensen and Emo Fittipaldi. Others working their way through then on the first green flag lap. Let's see if we're going to have a little bit more excitement dropping down the carousel. Through the left-hander, sweeping round. Be exciting to see what Michael Shin can do to hold off an excitable Hadrian David. Sounded like to me there was some wheel spin down in the carousel. I think we could have 1 or 2 cars in jeopardy as Christian Ho is already spicing up on Jesse Cadasquedo. Watch out here because Bruno Del Pino's having a look at Hadrian David. That's a Santalock recovering after an incident. I think we may be about to see a replay potentially. Perhaps I was jinxing it. But certainly a Santalock recovering. I think it's Diego de la Torre. So Diego de la Torre having an incident and dropping to the back of the field. Right, Christian Ho's got Jesse Cadasquedo in the slipstream. Carrasquedo trying to shake him off. Down the back straight. Waiting for the inevitable opportunity. Christian Ho really pushing hard. Carrasquedo moves dramatically to the inside. Does not want to give him the opportunity, but Ho is going to be ahead of the braking zone. Can Carrasquedo get back through up the inside? Now Christian Ho's got to think long term here. He does not want to get into the side of Carrasquedo like Segura did with Tagovailoa on the start. He's got to think about this. You've got time, Christian. Don't rush it. Down the straight again. Carrasquedo putting him up against the pit wall for a moment. Oh, he's back level. And he's going to try and go right on the outside. Don't tell me they've done it again. Oh my goodness, Christian Ho gets away with it. Oh, that could have been so outrageous to see first the MP teammates, then the Campos teammates collide. But somehow they've got away with it, and Christian Ho has taken the lead here at Aragon. Now, the big question is going to be, did Christian Ho gain an advantage from going off the road? Because that's what Jesse Carrasquedo's crew are going to be asking. With a bit of a slide as they work their way through. The tyres are really starting to squeal as they come through these long sweeping rotators. Carrasquedo going to have another go at Christian Ho. Clearly feels that the vice champion of Spanish F4 2023 is not a man he wants to let get away. At GRS, they're keeping an eye on things. Let's have a replay. Now, this is of that restart. What I really wanted to see was a lap later, to be honest with you. Now, that's David having a bit of a run at Michael Shin in the background. We didn't see how that finished up. Right, now, here's the first big challenge. And Christian Ho deciding to be careful, letting Jesse Carrasquedo have that one back, and then taking him on. Don't tell me we're going to cut the replay now. We are. I really wanted to see that first corner again, because that was ridiculously close. But down the main straight, Christian Ho is now under pressure from Jesse Carrasquedo. Wait a minute, I think he's had to give the place back. So Carrasquedo has taken the lead again. So now Christian Ho is going to try and get the job done before they get to the braking zone. That's more like it. But Carrasquedo is still there. He's still there. He's going to dive. Carrasquedo's got nothing to lose. So Christian Ho is still there. Still there. Boys. Amazing racecraft. And Carrasquedo's back in front. So Christian Ho, he's really going to have to fight to get through. He's up against the pit wall. Christian Ho determined to get past Carrasquedo. No, you don't, says his teammate. This is battle royale between these two. And the more they fight, the more Michael Shin and Hadrian David are getting onto the scene. This is terrific racing. Christian Ho again challenging Jesse Carrasquedo as they go up the hill. So once again, Carrasquedo's got to keep his wits about him as Michael Shin now has a look on the inside of his teammate Christian Ho. Gets dangerously close. David drifts out wide, trying to make the bid. Now you're going to have to bail out of that one, Hadrian. And for a while there, it looked as though he was going to challenge again. Diving up the inside, that's one of the MPs trying to cut through on Valentin Klus, I believe. Or was that Del Pino on Garfias? I think actually, no, it was Bruno Del Pino on Garfias. So again, Christian Ho has had to bail out. The thing is, 18 points are a lot of points. A lot of points. So you do not want to sacrifice that going wheel to wheel with a man who is desperate to win his first Euro Cup 3 race. Jesse Carrasquedo pulling off the defensive moves of a man who knows this could be his one chance to win a race this year. So Christian Ho keeping all of the Singaporean fans up late back home. They want to see their man get the job done. Christian Ho, Singapore's first real chance of a future Formula One star. And boy, is he taking advantage of that promise and legacy with both hands. A little bit of a run wide there from Del Pino. This could be a chance for Daniel Nogales in the background. Watch for Klus, Fittipaldi and Jensen. They're getting pretty tight together. Solov under pressure here from Noah Lyle. Bit of defensive tactics from Del Pino. Also defensive from David because he's got Jose Garfias coming through. Round the outside of Del Pino, that's Daniel Nogales trying to move his way further forward. No, you don't. Very well defended in the end. So they climb back up the crest over the main straight, and Carrasquedo and Christian Ho are still battling for the victory. Christian Ho wants the win and the championship lead. Carrasquedo wants the win even more by the look of it. So for Christian Ho, it's the championship lead. For Jesse Carrasquedo, it's his first win of the season, and it could be, of course, his only win of the season. Based on the bad luck he's had so far this year, he does not want to let this slip. Up the hill, Michael Shin in third, then Hadrian David, Garfias, Del Pino, Nogales, Klus, Fittipaldi and Solov now in the top 10. So Nicolas Solov definitely making a resurgence. Continue on through. Those tyres are really starting to squeal, but when the track temperature is 63 degrees Celsius, it's no surprise. These cars are really being worked here. Jesse Kadashkado doing a great job, I have to say. 1:55.5. He was a second quicker than Christian Ho on his best lap. So this is really going well for Jesse Kadashkado. The fastest rookie in the race, by the way, is actually Douwe de Decker, all the way down in 15th place. But having said all the way down in 15th place, he started in, I think, 30th. So that's amazing work from Douwe de Decker and proof that he's done with F4. He's ready for Euro Cup 3, very much in the same way that we saw from Jevan David last time out. I'm actually surprised that Jevan David wasn't staying in Euro Cup 3 for Santalok, because in the past weekend, the Sri Lankan actually scored points on his debut. Absolutely amazing run from Jevan David. It shows that next year in 2025, he'll be a favourite for the Euro Cup 3 title, because if that's what he's done with barely any experience in the car, imagine what he'll be like with a season of winter testing under his belt. Side by side. And again, it's getting pretty tricky into the chicane between Solov, Jensen and Gilks. Great wheel-to-wheel stuff as they continue on down the home straight. And Kadashkado still 0.7 of a second ahead of Christian Ho, who now takes the fastest lap of the race away in rookie. Overall, though, the fastest lap is still Jesse Kadashkado. The gap between them is only 0.6 of a second. So Kadashkado has settled into the rhythm now. The Hancooks are going well for him. So he's looking pretty strong up the hill. Kadashkado, Ho, Shin, David, Garfias and Del Pino. Some good battles everywhere you look in this Euro Cup 3 field. There is Shin, starting to pull away a little from Hadrian David. Then there is Jose Garfias, the Mexican doing his best to shake off former race winner this year, Bruno Del Pino. But Del Pino is the man leading the charge. And there is Javier Segreda's car, having been recovered and brought back to the pits. Don't ask where Javier Segreda is. He's probably already halfway to the hotel. And he'll be kicking his pillow tonight with some vigor, ready to go again tomorrow. So down the drop. Kadashkado, Ho and Shin. Hadrian David going well in 4th place. Then Garfias and Del Pino. Nogales, Klus, Fittipaldi and Solov, then Jensen, Noah Lyle and Nick Gilks from Isaac Barashi and Douwe de Decker. Great run from the Belgian novice in Euro Cup 3, of course. He's been in Spanish F4 all season long, so great to see him make the jump up to Euro Cup 3 and do such a great job. Look at the background. We've got an amazing duel starting up here. As that is, I believe, Owen Tangavelu trying to recover. Tangavelu is up into 18th place. So it's getting pretty spicy in the middle of this gaggle as they go down the straight. Oh, careful, boys. You don't want to make a mess of this one down into the braking zone. In fact, that's actually Fittipaldi battling away with Nicolas Solov. And Nicolas Solov gets the job done around the outside and finishes it off on the inside for the right-hander. So that's Solov up into 9th position behind Valentin Klus and ahead of Emo Fittipaldi Jr. Here they come. This is the battle. And diving up the inside, that's Noah Lyle. He's going to try and take both of them in one go. He manages Fittipaldi, has to back out for Solov, but not a bad run from Noah Lyle at all. Excellent run. And now on the outside of Emo Fittipaldi, I think there was contact between Fittipaldi and Jensen. Well, Fittipaldi's come out of it, and Jensen has backed down. Oh, that was close. But there definitely looked like there was contact there, just briefly, between Fittipaldi Jr. and Jensen. Got away with it, though, for the time being. They've got to be careful of debris coming off the cars, of course. But certainly for the time being, Fittipaldi showcasing that you do not trifle with me. Down to the carousel again. Great battles all the way through this field. Looks to me as though Kadashkado has finally settled into a bit of a rhythm here. And Christian Ho is still there. He's about 0.6 of a second away. So he's still got more to do. But obviously as these tyres get more worn over the course of the race, it's going to be about who can look after their tyres that little bit more. And that will really prove who's going to have the legs for the rest of this race. So back up the hill again. Kadashkado, Ho and Shin. It's looking perfect for a Campos clean sweep, which will certainly be good for them because they've watched an MP clean sweep a couple of times this year. And this will be the moment when MP Motorsport hit the self-destruct button from their point of view. Segreda tangling with Tangavelu in the first corner. Down the back straight. That is not the road. Oh, my goodness me. A little bit of a battle that got a little bit too heated between these two. So it's getting a little bit spicy. And certainly the battle's raging. As that is the GRS, I do believe, of Isaac Barashi, getting a little bit too close for comfort there with the man in front of him, Nick Gilks. And Douwe de Decker in the 72, trying to keep his nerves in check there, watching it all happen. Check out these two. Christian Ho has dialed it up again on Jesse Kadashkado. The gap has come back down to 0.4 of a second at the line. All he needs is the right slipstream. Kadashkado pushing. Christian Ho pushing too. More problems for Tagovailoa, I'm afraid. He seems to have come into the pits, and I think that's game over for him. So Tagovailoa in trouble. I think he may have got into an incident with Georgi Żurawski, because Owen Tagovailoa now down in 26th position, I'm afraid. So no good for Owen Tagovailoa today. Just a race he'll want to forget very quickly indeed. There is Owen Tagovailoa, the Vietnamese driver. Damage to the rear end of the car by the look of it. What a disappointment for MP. The race that got away from them. They had two guys up in the top 5. And unfortunately, they tripped over each other. So it's a very disappointing end to the race for poor Owen Tagovailoa. Parking his car in the same garage as Javier Segreira. But I have a feeling the debrief between those two won't be happening tonight. I think it might happen first thing in the morning when they've both had a chance to sleep on it. Here we go. Christian Ho dialing in. Jesse Kadashkado. 0.3 of a second between them as they go down the back straight. Expect a move on the next lap from Christian Ho. Shin third, David fourth, then Garfias, Del Pino, Nogales, Klus, Solov, Lyle, Fittipaldi Jr., Jensen. Getting pretty spicy. Whoa! Kadashkado having to go ultra defensive from Christian Ho. Christian Ho's all over him. He must have got it wrong at the end of the straight, because now Christian Ho really is attacking Kadashkado. Don't even think about this, mate. I want the victory. I've got a championship to win here. You don't. And Kadashkado drifts out wide. Christian Ho uses a lot of curb, and that's enough to hold him off for the moment. Christian Ho's coming back at him. Kadashkado desperate to win. Christian Ho determined to. Up the hill. Can Christian Ho dive in the left-hander? Of course he can't. That's far too big a calculated risk. In through the right-hander now. Sweeping back on. You really do get the sense that Christian Ho is not going to settle for second position. His eyes are as wide as his stomach right now, and he is hungry for a victory, knowing that his main championship rival and the championship leader is on the sidelines. It's too tempting for Christian Ho to take the lead of the championship. Second place is good. Victory is all that matters for him right now. Back down the straight. Then sweeping through this long left curvature. This is where you can really build up the speed, and you can tell that Christian Ho is really going to try and stretch Jesse Kadashkado, put his back against the ropes again. Past the brick wall, down the drop, into the second chicane complex. Right, left, keep it neat and tidy, boys. Well, Kadashkado just a little bit ragged. Christian Ho absolutely on the limit, and that's a spinner. That's a spinner further down the field. That is Hellberg. So in the DXR, Emil Hellberg has gone around, but fortunately that won't be a safety car. Emil Hellberg recovers it quickly. Thank goodness for that. If ever there was a worse time for a safety car right now, it was then. Whoops! And it looked to me as though Hellberg lost that on his own, I'm afraid. So he was battling away with Linus, I do believe. So the Hellbergs almost trip over each other, but not quite. Up the hill. Jesse Kadashkado still leading Christian Ho with 6 minutes on the clock. When is Christian Ho going to get close enough to make his move? I think he's going to have to play the intimidation game here a little bit harder to Jesse Kadashkado. Definitely getting as close to him as he possibly can. Out through the right. You know it's a good race in Euro Cup 3 when nobody says anything on the YouTube chat because they're too busy watching to type. They go up the hill, in through the left. Get a bit of a slide from Christian Ho. Jesse Kadashkado just holding it for the moment. This is when the tyres will really be at their worst. They've been flat on it for the last 15 minutes or so after the previous safety car period. And with the circuit being at 63 degrees Celsius, look at the wobble from Jesse Kadashkado. He really pushes it down the hill. Good catch. That could have been disaster for Kadashkado. And Christian Ho is absolutely going to make mincemeat of that opportunity. Kadashkado's fastest lap is a 1:53.8. Christian Ho's fastest lap is a 1:53.5. That's a big advantage. Let's look at it again. Look at that tank snapper from Jesse Cadasquedo. How did he avoid a spin? That was a good save by the Mexican. But let's see how it continues. Down the straight, Christian Ho in the toe of Jesse Cadasquedo. Michael Shin doing a sensational job here in third position. He is getting better all the time, and that barrel roll at Zandvoort has not given him any source for discomfort. If anything, it's motivated him to do even better. And the Korean driver, who is one of the best out there in terms of his rate of development, continues on the charge. That is Garrett Berry for Palau. Very disappointing indeed for the Palau Motorsport team, named after the double IndyCar champion Alex Palau. And I'm afraid it's all done for Garrett Berry in this one. Here we go again, 4 minutes to go. Everybody's watching on, even Jovan David, who of course was a race point scorer in Euro Cup 3 last time out at Zandvoort on his debut. Expect him to be at the front of the field in Euro Cup 3 in 2025. For the moment, he's learning from the Campos trio up front. Adrian David goes through your picture, then goes Garfias. Here comes Del Pino into shot. There's a big opportunity for Del Pino as well here to score big, because 6th position for him will give him 8 points. And that puts him ahead of Christian Ho, unless Christian Ho stays where he is. What it certainly does for Del Pino is it pulls him another 8 points clear of Owen Tangavelu and gets him 8 points closer to Javier Segrera. So with 2 of the big championship contenders out, the other 2 are hoping to score as well as they can. But certainly Christian Ho, hopeful to continue this bandwagon. Will he have to cope with 2nd place, or can he find that little bit of extra? Well, Jesse Cadasquedo has found a new fastest lap, a 1:53.656 for him. That's his best lap of the race so far, but so too does Christian Ho with a 1:53.577. So of the 2 of them, Ho is still the faster driver over 1 lap. But it's what happens over the next 3 minutes. Oh, big wobble from Cadasquedo as he comes onto the back straight. And that can really cost you a momentum of a couple of kilometers an hour. And Cadasquedo's feeling it. He's trying to swarm around to break the toe, because he knows how powerful that's going to be. Christian Ho will be on him by the time they get to the braking zone. Meanwhile, Adrian David is now under pressure from Jose Garfias. Here comes the Mexican. David having to pull across to defend. Garfias is going to get alongside. Leave each other space, boys. And there's not enough room for Garfias to finish off the move. Nothing wrong there from Adrian David. If you're the man in front at the apex, you protect your line. Perfect racecraft from Adrian David. Garfias recognized it and bailed out. So Garfias is going to try again here. David again goes defensive into turn 1. Nicely handled. Drifts a little wide. This could be enough on the exit. Can he keep the throttle in all the way round the corner? Well, David doesn't give him a lot of space there. And Jose Garfias is now going to have to try again in attack mode. Up the straight. Through the kink. Can he dive it on the inside? No, he's not going to make that one work. And he backs out of it. He'll have to try again. We are running out of racing minutes here. This could get very interesting indeed. Things are going to get tight now to the very end of the race. So this is going to be a very close battle. So let's see if Christian Ho has one last attempt to go for Jesse Cadasquedo. You can see he's still hustling him, but Cadasquedo is doing his best to pick up the pace. And in fact, he's done so big time. Cadasquedo's new fastest lap is a 1:53.355. Christian Ho's is a 1:53.392. So they are level on pace now. Adrian David still holding on to 4th place in front of Jose Garfias and Bruno Del Pino. I have to say, one man we haven't really mentioned much in this race, but needs a bit of credit here, is the German, Valentin Klus. There he is, under massive pressure from Nikola Tsolov for most of the last 5 minutes. And although Tsolov has got him, Valentin Klus, who is still a rookie, don't forget, has not cracked under the pressure. Here he is. So this is Valentin Klus with Tsolov and Nogales. Very impressed with the Germans so far in this race. He's now having to go right across the road to stop Tsolov coming through. But was that a move too much? No, beautiful defense from Valentin Klus. Very well done indeed. And Nikola Tsolov, for the moment, is thwarted. The Bulgarian Lion will have to try again. We're on the penultimate lap now. Oh, it looks like Klus got wide on the exit and Tsolov got him anyway. So Valentin Klus, I was just defending his defense. But unfortunately, he let Tsolov go anyway. So Solov is now into P7. And Valentin Klus is actually now down to P9. He's made a mistake somewhere and let Daniel Nogales through. But he is still the second rookie. And he'll be joined on the rookie podium with Christian Ho by Theodor Jensen if it stays like this. So can Christian Ho catch up to Jesse Kadashkado in time? Or is Kadashkado going to be able to hold on? This is a really good drive from Kadashkado. You've got to remember that he's had all sorts of mishaps this year. Kadashkado has not exactly coloured himself in glory, but he has certainly put himself in the right position this weekend. Going through the far side of the course. Time has run down to 0, so this is the penultimate lap. Whatever happened, Christian Ho slides. That could have been the moment. That could have been the last chance to catch back up to Kadashkado. Now well and truly gone. You can't afford for these things to get away from you like this. Charles Gauardin watching along. He wishes the best for this with the peak racing that he is watching. It is really good, isn't it? I mean, okay, it's not crash every 25 seconds, but it's the purest single-seater feeder series racing I've seen for quite some time. Diving at the inside, Christian Ho hoping to catch Jesse Kadashkado out there in the braking zone. Just wants to let him know that he's big in the mirrors in the hope that the Mexican will slip up. Has he slipped up? Not yet. With 1 lap to go for Jesse Kadashkado, it's now or never. This is your moment, Jesse. Everybody back home in Mexico is watching to see if he can finish the job. Certainly looking good at the moment. Michael Shin is losing a bit of ground here to Hadrian David, who could spoil the Campos hat trick on the podium. But there's still plenty to talk about going into this final lap. Christian Ho still pushing up the hill. 25 points will give him the lead of the championship. 18 points will get him 5 points off it. He's doing everything he can. He's trying to steal back the fastest lap of the race as well, but Jesse Kadashkado has done that. So it looks as though Kadashkado is going to score 26 points from this race to add to the 2 points he got for pole position. So 28 points, the maximum score, could be going Jesse Kadashkado's way, but only if Christian Ho doesn't outfox him. The Mexican who's had so much bad luck before this weekend. He's had opportunities and results taken off him as Jesse Kadashkado many a time this season in various other categories. But on his debut at Paul Ricard earlier this year in Euro Cup 3, he got a podium. So he definitely knows how to win races. It'll be great to see Kadashkado getting himself into a better position now, having made the switch over to Euro Cup 3 midway through the season. It's great to see him putting on a show. He was in the United Arab Emirates at the beginning of the season, putting on a good show in Formula Regional Middle East. Now he's on course to take his first Euro Cup 3 victory in only his 5th attempt in 2024. Christian Ho is going to try his best to outfox him in the braking zone. It isn't going to happen. It's going to be a fantastic victory, surely, for the Mexican. Everybody has been waiting patiently for him to get the job done in 2024 in Euro Cup 3. He's made it happen. Jesse Kadashkado wins at Aragon. Christian Ho in second. The championship lead is down to just 5 points, and Michael Shin completes the Campos podium hat-trick. Hadrian David's time penalty is added, and so Garfias comes home in 4th, Del Pino in 5th, and Solov in 6th position. Hadrian David is classified 7th then in front of Valentin Klus, Noah Lyle, and Emo Fittipaldi Jr. But for once, it's not MP that swamps the podium, it's Campos that swamps the podium. And it's Jesse Kadashkado who gets it done. So much bad luck in various categories this year for Jesse Kadashkado. Joined in Euro Cup 3 2 rounds ago at Paul Ricard. Got a podium there. Struggled at Zandvoort. At Aragon, it's finally his day. Christian Ho got so close to taking the lead and the championship away from him. But no, Jesse Kadashkado was determined. Today was going to be his day. And he follows in the wheel tracks of Valerio Rinicella in the pre-season races here at Aragon. And then in championship mode, he has followed Javier Segrera, Owen Tangavelu, Bruno Del Pino, Christian Ho, and Alex Abkasava to be race winners in Euro Cup 3. Excellent performance as he becomes winner number 6 in 11 races. Excellent display. Great performance. And a fantastic win for Jesse Carrasquedo. A great run all the way through. And wasn't it nice to see, okay, yes, we had a safety car at the beginning for the tangle between Owen Tangavelu and Javier Segurera, but isn't it wonderful to see a race that from that moment on was a pure race? It wasn't about shoving people off the racetrack. It wasn't about contact. It wasn't about forcing the issue. It was about a pure motor race. Well done to all the drivers out there. They gave us a clean run after the first safety car to the flag. And for Jesse Carrasquedo, this is a big moment for him. The Mexicans had a lot of hardship of late. I was there with him in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi at the beginning of this season. And he knew he had the pace to be a winner. He knew he had what it took to get the job done. He just had no end of bad luck. Finally, the Mexican gets to taste the glory for once. It's not a waste of promise or legacy. It's not an unfulfillment of ambition. Today, he is La Vencedore. Jesse Carrasquedo wins in Halligan, and that is what it means to him. Great work from the Mexican. Awesome to see Jesse Carrasquedo take the win, and I can't hide a tear myself, to be fair. He's a lovely young man, and I know how painful 2024 has been for him up to this point. That's what it means. Look at the emotion. It's such a big deal. That is Jesse Carrasquedo Sr. on the left, watching his boy doing such a fantastic job. He has finally fulfilled the promise that we all knew he had. Jesse Carrasquedo, a Euro Cup 3 winner, a 7th different winner in 2024. What a performance, what a result. All the pressure in the world from Christian Ho, a 3-time winner this year and potential champion. Is Carrasquedo phased? Not even close. So let's hear from our race winner, Jesse Carrasquedo, who will be down in pit lane with Marietta Evans. This is going to be a very emotional young man after such a fantastic victory. Everybody wants to congratulate Jesse Carrasquedo, even the photographers. Look at that. Look at that emotion as Bruno Del Pino comes up. They were teammates in karting. Oh, this is going to be a very happy podium for Jesse Carrasquedo. What a result for the young Mexican. They were teammates in their young days, growing up in the world of karting. Rivals again in Euro Cup 3. And Jesse Carrasquedo finally gets the win he deserves. That is absolutely wonderful. Let's hear from Michael Shin, actually, first of all, to the podium. Marietta Evans is going to get the trio.
Yes, because Michael Shin also has a lot of reasons to be very smiley, very happy. This is his first podium this season. I think his first podium in the category. Let's hear from him. Michael, talk us through that race and what does this podium mean for you?
Yeah, this podium means a lot because, you know, over the season we've really been progressing and we're putting in the hard work, and, you know, this just shows that, you know, if you put in the work, you know, you'll get your thing, you know. Yeah, this, you know, it wasn't an easy race with a lot of track limits and it being so hot, but I think, you know, we worked hard and we got what we deserved.
Well done on putting that effort in very difficult conditions. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to try and catch up with Jesse Carrasquedo as soon as he finishes attending the Spanish media, also covering this exciting Napa racing weekend. I really want to hear from Jesse on that very close battle with Christian. Definitely no team orders. I don't know if a bit in the limit. Definitely very exciting for us to watch, to witness, and we're gonna hear very shortly from Jesse. And I don't know if you managed to see how emotional his dad was. He was crying. He couldn't. I was having a little chat with his dad before. He couldn't even talk. He was just in tears. And so it's a very, very emotional moment for the Carrasquedo family. So a big hello to all of all of our fans watching from Mexico, a big day for Mexico, for Mexican motorsport fans as well. And we're just waiting for Jessica Rasquero to finish talking to the Spanish media, and I think it's gonna come with us. Now, Jessie, first pole, first victory, and I think a battle with Christian for the history books. How did it all feel for you?
Yeah, it was quite hard, you know. I knew from the beginning Christian was going to be really fast. I was not going to be able to pull away. I already had that in my mentality. You know, just try to save tires, but also fighting a lot. Maybe a bit too much because we were teammates. I was also pushing too much, but, you know, it's racing. Deserved win. Worked really hard for this in the sim, and thank you to Campos, to all my engineers. I've been with them for 3 years already, since 2021, so really I appreciate them a lot. So happy to have my first win in Euro Cup with them.
We saw your dad in tears. What does this victory at a personal level mean for you, for your family, and for all of Mexico?
Yeah, you know, we've struggled a lot, just struggled the years, you know, so much work. I haven't won a race since 2021, so really happy with this, you know, shows that hard work always beats talent, and yeah, I'm really happy.
And it hasn't been a good day for your rival team, MP Motorsport, yet. We saw even Bruno Del Pino came to congratulate you. That was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, he's a very good friend with me. He's always been really close. I brought him to Mexico 4 times already, so we're like brothers, you know. But yeah, shame for MP, but we keep fighting to see which team comes up top by the end of the year.
I have some greetings in Spanish for your Mexican fans watching.
Viva Mexico.
Congratulations, thank you. And I think that is all from us. I don't think we'll get to speak to Christian Ho. I don't think he's very happy with that P2 today. He was really pushing, trying to get that victory ahead of Jessica Rasquero, but it wasn't to be today for Christian Ho.
Gracias, Marietta. Yes, second position, frustration for Christian Ho, knowing that a race victory would have given him the lead of the championship going into tomorrow. But Jessica Rasquero victorious and celebrating his first race win in motorsport since his karting days, I do believe. In fact, no, he did get a victory in the F4 Danish Championship all the way back in 2021, as he mentioned, but it's been absolutely fantastic to see him work his way further forward, and he absolutely deserves the accolades of this one. I think he took a win in the early part of F4 NACAM as well, back in his native Mexico. But certainly he's had an amazing run. Freca has been disappointing and frustrating for the main part for him, but it has been really satisfying to watch Jessica Rasquero soak up all the pressure of what was a very tough race indeed for him, and it's wonderful to see him get the victory that he deserves. Ahead of Christian Ho, who now brings the championship fight down to just 5 points, between himself and Javier Segurera, who gets away with that, but his championship lead has been completely smashed into just a 5-point advantage heading into the race tomorrow. A new qualifying session tomorrow, of course. So, unfortunately, we don't have time to stick around for the podium ceremony here at Euro Cup 3 because the racing on track is going to be continuing on our way. But if you want to see images of the podium ceremony, you'll be able to do that on the social media channels. All of the guys will obviously be picking up all of the reactions from the guys on the podium post-race on the Euro Cup 3 social media channels. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell here on YouTube as well. You'll never miss a race. And of course, we get to do this all over again tomorrow when we are back for race 2 of the weekend. Hang on a minute. That seems like a clear to me. I wonder if we have got time to look at the podium. Indeed we do. My goodness, I thought we were going to run out of time there, but it looks as though we are going to have the Campos fairy tale on the podium that we were hoping to see. So third position is going to be Michael Shin. His second visit to the podium this year for the young Korean. Excellent performance from him so far. He was on the podium in Portimao earlier this year. A very delighted Christian Ho, but I think he would have been even more happy to take the victory. He's just 5 points away from the championship lead. But on the top step of the podium, Viva Mexico, as Jessica Rasquero takes the win and the flag of Mexico to the top step of the podium. If Sergio Perez's Formula One career is set to end in the next couple of seasons, then at least there is another hot shoe Mexican talent in Jesse Carrasquedo getting ready to take over from him in Formula One in the years to come. That is all we have time for in Euro Cup 3 2024 here at Motorland Aragon for race 1. Race 2 is coming up tomorrow, and there will be more excitement, more drama, more fantastic battles. The Campos Racing team have swept the podium here in fine style. But as the trophies go out to the drivers, it has been a fantastic end to what has been a very exciting race. There are your three men on the podium. Michael Shin, the Korean driver, coming through for P3 for the second podium of his season. He is making a massive catch-up in terms of his rate of development. Certainly one of the most improved drivers in Euro Cup 3 in 2024. Christian Ho, one step away from taking his fourth win of the 2024 season. But he has another chance to go for it tomorrow. But we wouldn't have missed the opportunity for all the emotion, all of the joy, and all of the glory of Jesse Carrasquedo for Mexico. He becomes the 7th different winner in Euro Cup 3 in 2024. And we can't wait to see if we'll get an 8th tomorrow, or whether the battle between Javier Segurera and Christian Ho goes fever pitch in race 2 here at Motorland Aragon. So as the Campos team storm the podium and sweep all 3 steps, they are going to celebrate in style. What a fantastic end. And muchas gracias to Marietta Evans down in pit lane. She'll be back tomorrow, of course, to get all the stories and all the latest news. And we will be back once again live here on the Euro Cup 3 stream. Enjoy the celebrations as the boys get busy with the fizzy on the podium. From Jake Sanson here in the commentary box, it's adios amigos, as we will enjoy the race action tomorrow from race 2.